Okay, hello there, everyone. I wanted to take the time to do this follow-up video. It's been a year since I made the last video, and I wanted to give some updates on where things are with mastering the language and in general. The first thing I want to say, um, very deeply, deeply heartfelt thank you to all who have contributed to Mastering a Language uh, through conversations, through some donations, and especially last year, a year ago, it came at exactly the right time um, from a support perspective and from a financial perspective uh, because things were spiraling in some ways out of control at that time. I've learned a lot in the last year. I've learned a lot about finances and health, and I've learned a lot about just things I wasn't really thinking about for many many years. Came up and all at the same time. A number of dynamics going on that I had to manage through personally, and but thank God, everything is working out. Things are stabilizing. Um, and specifically in terms of mastering language, which is what this video is really about, that the donations that people provided, that all of you provided, some of my friends and peers and others that were just interested to provide a donation, that helped to cover some of the immediate cost that were there at Mastering Language, ongoing running costs at that time. It was costing about literally about $700 a month, which I didn't even have the capacity to do it myself, which I had been carrying that for a while, but for many years. Um, but the time that the donation was contributed, it helped to cover like some immediate charges to keep the site up and running. And at the same time, I had to quickly really figure out why is this costing so much every month. It doesn't make sense. And really, Mastering the Language is a platform that's supposed to be not for profit, and it forced me to reevaluate how things were set up from a like technology stack and infrastructure and what's realistic, what's really needed to support the cause of mastering the language. And thank God from that, again, the coverage of the time then, and and then reanalyzing, excuse me, what it's really going to take to keep things up and running and keep it going. Um, Now I've been able to reduce the cost down to about $300 a month. It's pretty much an all-in cost to keep things up and running and going. And I've been able to work through some of that with. I've been able to cover uh, that for the most part for now. Okay. But I'm just want to. This is really thanking everyone at that particular period in time. Things weren't looking very bright in terms of the future of the Mastini language at that moment and other things going on. But things have stabilized over, it's been about a year. So now I'm here and I'm presenting myself this way. I'm just a regular person. So I wanted to share with you a little bit more about mastering language and talk about some of the uh, incentive behind it, the motivation behind it, what the vision really is, um, and try to use layman's terms. And so that anyone who's interested to continue to be sponsor on as a part of it, not just donating money if you like, but just supporting the cause. That's always helpful because at the core of everything that is being done for mastering the language is trust. Okay, so I don't have a full script to go through here today. I wanted to present myself just as I am. I didn't think through uh, how many things to say, but I do want to keep it as short as possible because um, I value your time, and I do want to say that again, thank you. I can't thank everyone enough for the support, the moral support, the financial support, donations, and things driving into helping to ensure mastering the language is still going. And it's been very helpful for me as an individual to see that the cause really does mean something to people. So, uh, having said that, so going forward, what's happening? What's been happening? Basically, the goal of mastering a language, all right. There's three key things that is really set up and designed to do. It is a gift from God, so this is I feel like I'm sharing a much bigger cause than me. Okay, a much bigger cause than what we see today. But let's just say to keep it concrete, um, there's three key aspects that make it kind of like a big ship, and gives it a very long runway. The first thing it's designed to do is introduce people to languages. So, in the world, there are a number of languages, and mastering the language is set up just to give people exposure to those languages. That's the first thing. The second thing, and I'll go into more detail in a little bit. The second thing is to allow someone to practice and learn the basics in the language that of interest. So, and we're literally practice and learn the basics. And I'll go into more detail on that. And then the third one is just to give someone cultural exposure and to situations and different aspects of where that language really is being used, uh, and online, or not just online, but at least build pathways into those areas so people can not just know the name of the language or a couple numbers or some basics, but also get a feeling for the cultures involved in what's behind those languages and where they came from. So those 3 points, mastering the language is set up to introduce others to languages. Make sure that people are aware they exist. Second is help people to practice and learn the basics. Help us to practice and learn the basics, including myself. I use it myself um, to learn languages that otherwise I wouldn't be able to learn because I'm not very good in classroom and I study. I need goals, and so it kind of gives me a way to practice things when I want, just to get familiar. And then the third is the cultural side, which um, culturally, languages and their history, and there's many things we can read about them online and why they formed and why they're here, and they're very personal to people. And a lot of times they're aligned to cultural background. And So that goes, in my opinion, that goes hand in hand. You can't really have one without the other. But you can approach your language and start learning it to help you to better embrace the culture that others have, including ourselves. Okay, so with those 3 points, introduction to the language, we'll cover that first. So basically, the goal is to make sure that their mastering the language is showcasing. That's a big word, really. Making aware uh, that the language exists. So right now, there's about 8,000, literally 8,000 languages that are set up on Mastering the Language, just with the name. And slowly over time, as the need is there, like we can see, have reports to see, I have reports to see which languages people are looking into on Mastering the Language. So as the need is there, we're filling in more background on that language. We're doing some of the research to try to figure out how to get the basics of that language in there, get more information about it. Uh, so there is about 8,000 languages. Starting out years and years ago, I thought I had I was pursuing, trying to speak different languages and things, but I didn't realize there were that many languages in the world. I didn't really think that much about it, but I would have guessed about 100. And then eventually I started realizing, okay, there's probably 200 or 300. But then looking much deeper into it, realized, no, there really is about 8,000 languages. Um, and it may only be 1,000 people speaking it, or there may be, and there some the languages are endangered in some ways or extinct. But it's good to know because things are forming and evolving over time. So, if Master Any Language, when you go to the website, if you're learning about names of languages you've never heard of, or that you may have heard of but you didn't realize that it was written that way, or you're starting to learn about it, then the goal of Mastering a Language, part one, is happening. Introduce you to the language just by being there, just existing there. The second goal is practice and learn the basics. So what did it mean by the basics? The basics are like the numbers, the alphabet, colors, days of the week, months of the year, some basic greetings, some phrases, maybe some clothing. There's a few different more categories we have that are considered the basics. Spiritual things, Bible, and other things that someone who speaks the language generally would be aware of. And someone who's learning the language, it helps equip you with those basics so that you can really start navigating um, on your own, or in the spaces you want to be in. So practice and learn the basics. Mastering the language allows you to go in and take a language, let's say like Farsi or Kurdish or Turkish, and you can go look at the numbers, start getting a feel for what those numbers are, um, and play some games to practice and see how much you're really learning. Right on Mastering the Language itself. That's built into the back end software, and it's nothing fancy, but it will help you to learn things like bir, iki, uch, dort, besh, which is like 1 through 5 in Turkish. And if you're very really interested, you can start um, branching out and learning other languages that maybe it's not just the sound of the language or the way the things are written. Maybe it's how they sound or what they're similar to. It might be how they're written and being able to recognize the actual scripting. Let's say if it was like Japanese hiragana, Just seeing it first time, it may not be even easy to process. What is it? Is this really wording and things like that? But using uh, things like practicing hiragana and learning the alphabets and helps you to start be able to see that the language really is. Wow, this language really does exist and it's used and it's like there's literacy behind it and it's really more than just squiggly lines. So the second goal of mastering a language is to get someone to be able to practice and learn the basics. Now this again, this takes time to build out all those features of each language. It's a long road, but there is a target there, which is try to provide that information for each of the languages, but it's an on-demand basis, meaning the reports are showing which languages really people are looking at every day. And out of 8,000, there's probably about 500 real languages that people are trying to see throughout any given month. Actually, there's 600, about 600 in any given month. And they fluctuate, and the things are coming in and out month over month. So the goal is to meet the need where it really is. And then if we get to that point and we're meeting the need and everything looks green and we've provided those basics, then start branching out and maybe going deeper into those languages that people aren't really discovering or, and give more of that. So the third lane is the third goal, really, not lane. The third goal is the cultural exposure and situations. And the way Mastering the Language kind of does that is it's building a network. So we're building it. When I say it, the website is linking out to videos, the products, organizations, companies, people, teachers, everything. It's trying to, like all the assets built into the specific language are linking out and attributing that to someone who's created it or they're an organization, they're an entertainment company from that language. Doesn't have to be anyone teaching languages. It's just it could be recipes and people cooking foods and making cultural dishes. And they're not making that to show someone the language itself. They're just sharing their culture on YouTube or TikTok or somewhere else. And basically, mastering the language in that third goal is to provide those pathways. So when you go into a language, you should be able to find music and foods and people teaching it and people sharing the language and songs and a whole variety of things. Language learning programs where they can help you learn the language. Mastering the language is the goal is to be the marketplace where you can find anything and everything you would want to use if you're interested in a specific language. And I think that's the three main points. So introduction to the language, one, whichever language it is. Again, maybe Turkish or Arabic or Japanese or Chinese or Taiwanese or Cantonese or Yoruba or Oromo or we can go any language in the world. There's about 8,000 of them. Okay. English, but not just plain English. It might be Pidgin English or Caribbean English, and it starts breaking down as you start looking at British English. There are differences, so we try to distinguish that on the site. Um, the second is practice and learn the basics. Now that you've been exposed, you see it. Get a little bit deeper than just reading like a Wikipedia article or, oh yeah, I'm aware. Be able to practice it. The basics, the numbers and colors and days, and so like you can learn. I don't know. You can learn languages of India. There's many of them. You can start learning the like Shanivar, and like today is Saturday, so you can learn the different how those things are being said in the language, and you can kind of practice around it and practice the way you can read and write. And there should be a variety of sources there that you can go to on YouTube and other language programs that allow you to further extend that learning. And the last is the cultural side. So the cultural side is just again people sharing, um, giving back their language to others. Again, not specific to language learning, just sharing their language to their own communities. And it's available with the internet and the prevalence of media and everything today to link into all of those things. And the key piece with the what I said before is we're building a network. The network is forming organically because we're attributing all those assets that we're working through and connecting to. We're attributing that to those creators and the people who've done it, or the people who are the entertainers or teachers, and that gives them a pathway to promote them. Like that's promoting their work. So I hope this summarized kind of what mastering a language really on a longer, bigger picture is trying to do. I will kind of focus in on one key thing um, that I think is important to know what we're really selling. So mastering a language, we're building a network. We're allowing people to practice and learn the basics for free. We're continuing to evolve the data and the behind the site so that there will be more chance to practice and get deeper exposure into the different languages. We're exposing people to the languages, and all this is being done at no cost, on purpose. And the way that I see it is really mastering the language is about selling trust. So we want it to be a platform that people trust and people can, go and take advantage of at your own time for your own reasons, um, really to the glory of God, to God's glory. Um, on a personal level, yeah, I mastering a language is more than just a website. I was living a lot of this well before internet even came into play. So you can say that mastering a language is really a manifestation of, or a representation of part of kind of some things I've been able to experience in life in terms of secondary language acquisition and wanting to learn and trying to get involved into cultures and things and really enjoying that. So um, yeah, that's the foundation really of mastering a language. Again, it's not just an internet nice app that you can start running and trying to make money or anything. It's really just trying to really share the capability, give someone else a capability. If you want to learn to read katakana in Japanese or Korean language or Arabic language or Hindi or Bengali or uh, Tigrinya or the Amharic or the different languages that Armenian or any other languages that may not have an English Latin script. Mastering the language should help you, nudge you to give you a little more reality of what it's going to take. Okay, so let me stop there. Thank you for your time. You see this was not scripted. Um, I do want you to know that I'm very thankful for all your help, And for anyone that is my peers and my colleagues, my friends, my family, those who I don't know, who have contributed and commented and given all the levels of support. I'm also grateful for the, I'm going to call it negative feedback about why mastering the language isn't the best thing since sliced bread because it's not the right app to use, and I've those things are very helpful too. But to keep the focus on mastering the language, it's really not about selling the product. It's not. I'm not trying to sell this to make this better than any other product. It's not trying to compete with other language apps. It's really promoting all of those. It is trying to be an area that people can trust. Um, and it's one of my life goals and life mission to support it that way. And like I said, I think cost-wise, we've gotten it under control. Uh, the there's always room for improvement on the technology side, but I think we have everything stabilized for now, good enough to meet the goal. Introduction to the language, help you to practice and learn the basics, and really build a network of culture and allow people exposure to those different pathways and to real use of the language, not just book knowledge and for academia for it to say that you really think you're smart. No, it really give you an exposure to real people who use the language for real and some knowledge about, wow, why languages are so important to so many different cultures, more beyond just the major languages like English and Spanish and the other ones, okay? I don't know when I will do another video like this or another video. It may be another year, but I just want you to know that I am uh, consistently working on improving Master Any Language, adding much more data over it. It's taking time. It's a very big ship, but it's here uh, to sail. The ship is here to sail and survive. Um, I do welcome any feedback and continued support from everyone. And I just want to say thank you. All right. I hope all is well, and I will be checking in again. It may take another year to check in again, um, but I look forward to continuing to sell to you something that is becoming very rare today, but I'm continuing to look to sell to you trust that we may not get it right. It may not be fancy. The site may be slow sometimes. It may not have all the bells and whistles, and it may not have all the backing financially, but it is something that you should be able to trust. All right. All right. Thank you. Have a great day, week. Talk to you later. Bye bye.